welcome to this week's vlog. It is Thursday the 22nd of January. It's gonna be a busy week, y'all. It's gonna be a busy week. Last week was a busy week because of the baby shower and stuff. This week's gonna be a busy week because of doctor's appointments. Today I have my psychiatrist appointment about my ADHD medication. We're weaning off of it now. I hate it here. I hate it here. I'm on the first, so like for 2 weeks I went down from, so I used to take them 5 days a week, my meds 5 days a week. For 2 weeks I went down to 3 days a week. I'm now on the first week of the 2 weeks where I'm on 2 days a week. And then, not next week, but the week after, I'm going to go down to 1 day a week for 2 weeks. And then I will be off my meds, which is going to be rough considering how pregnant I am. So I need to do as much admin as possible, both at work and for the baby. Need to do as much of that as possible. Anyway, doctor's appointments wise though, I have an ultrasound tomorrow, which is, I'm a little nervous. It's to see that if the placenta has moved out of the way of my cervix. That's a lot of information, and I know you guys who don't care about pregnancy are probably like, what the fuck? I'm not worried about it, but it could mean if it's blocking, I would have to potentially, most likely have to have a C-section, which is my biggest fear, actually, when it comes to labor, is a C-section. Everything else I'm like, whatever, unbothered, don't care. C-section scares the shit out of me. I've never had surgery, so I think that's probably why, right? Anyway, okay, those are slowly but surely uploading. I'm uploading some stuff to Dropbox so that I can then post stuff on Facebook and whatever. I also, then Monday, have my doctor's appointment with my actual doctor, my OB, who I haven't seen in like 3 visits. So a while, so it's been a while since she's seen me. I think it was still my second trimester the last time she saw me. So I'm excited to see her. I like my OB, I like her a lot. I really like her, and I like the nurse that she works with, like, predominantly. I like them a lot. I'm going to bring my birth plan for us to go over it. Birth preferences, I think, and that's like what I have it titled as, is birth preferences. Because at the end of the day, my goal is for everybody to leave alive. Like, that's the plan. Everybody leaves alive. There are things I would prefer, but at the end of the day, my plan is for everyone to leave alive. Which I try to be open and realistic about these things. As best as I can be. Because everybody's told me, like, the thing about a birth plan is that, like, realistically, you have to understand that you may have a plan, and it might go south. What else? Also, that day, I'm renewing my license, my driver's license. We're gonna try, again. I finally have my birth certificate, so we're gonna try. I really need to have a valid ID considering what's currently going on where I live. Well, in the United States. I'm not gonna get into that, but I need to have a valid ID. Me less than my husband, but still need to have a valid ID. So, gonna work on that on Monday. And then I think something else is happening that week. Oh no, I just have book club. I have book club. But that's going to be at the end of this vlog. Anyway, it's a busy week, though. It's a very busy week. So, yeah. Sorry, Cutter's eating, which means she's trying to bury food, which is wild. And Tybalt's watching her like, what are you doing? Let's talk about what I'm going to read today, the reading plan. I am going to get 50% into The Scammer by Tiffany D. Jackson. I talked about this a little last week. There's like this true crime story about this dad who like moves in with, this is not what the book's about, but the book feels like it's about this. Similarly, not the same, but similar. True crime story, dad moves in with this daughter and her roommates and like brainwashes them into this like cult-like stuff. That's what this is giving. It feels like this. And then I'm also going to be probably just going ahead and finishing The Family Experiment by John Mars. This was not initially my plan, but I got nothing but time. No, I couldn't sleep last night, so I started it and got 61%. No, that's not true. I started it at the end of the workday, got 30% in. Then this morning couldn't go back to sleep at 4 a.m. and continued to read it. So I got 61%. The goal initially was to get 50% into it today, but I'm already 61%. So I'm going to listen to it and just go ahead and finish it. I don't even know how long that is. Like, how much time is left on that. I think I'm going to work on some cleaning today. I've got I might break down some boxes. We'll see. Or see if I can get my dad to come and help me break down boxes. But I might break down some boxes. I might work on the book blanket a little bit. I'm at a point where my hands are constantly falling asleep because of the pregnancy carpal tunnel. But yeah, so that's the plan for this week's vlog, for this week, for today, whatever. This update's long, so sorry, I'm just yapping. I'm gonna go. I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, thanks, bye. Hi, good morning. It is Friday, the 23rd. Cotter's eating, you know the drill. She's gonna be noisy, it is what it is. I have a doctor's appointment today. I've led up to this, we already know. My hand fucking hurts, and I've been awake since 2 a.m. Cool, good, solid, great time. Having a great time. I read a fuck ton yesterday. I did not mean to, but I did. Firstly, I finished The Family Experiment. I don't remember if I said that. I think I did, because I said that I was like 60% into it yesterday. Yeah, I finished The Family Experiment, and it was really good. Probably one of my favorites of the series, actually. John Mars needs therapy. Are you good, sir? Are you fine? Are you okay? Really, just such a solid dystopian sci-fi series as a whole, with really interesting conversations about, like, technology and AI and government control and how governments are gonna abuse technology. Just inherently, they're going to. Yeah, I said solid combos on AI, children, tech abuse, etc. I'm like, morality and capitalism. It's just really good. It was a really good book. I genuinely really enjoyed it. I need to mark this, because when I do like the reviews on here, if I really liked a book or really disliked a book, I'll put a star next to it so that I can just like flip through and find my top and bottom books pretty quickly. The other book I finished by accident yesterday was The Scammer by Tiffany D. Jackson. So I mentioned this in both last week's vlog and this week's vlog, where it feels like this one specific true crime case. Maybe editing me will like include a picture of a documentary or something, because I keep referencing this and I don't know like what it's called, like what the case is referred to as, but anyway. And other than the twist at the end, it kind of just feels like that in a young adult readable version. And while I enjoyed it, I thought it was a good book, I had a good time reading it, my grievance is that it isn't that creative to just take a true crime story and slightly change it. But I did still really enjoy it. I thought it was really interesting. It just wasn't unique. And I don't know if anybody else feels this way. Okay, yeah, someone does mention it a bit, but like the true crime story this is based on took years for the cult mindset to work. Years. And this just took a matter of weeks. And these are supposed to be college-aged girls. And college-aged girls are not that stupid. So, I don't know. It was enjoyable. It was like an enjoyable read. It just was kind of like, I don't know about that. I don't know about all that, but okay. Whatever you say, you know, that's how I felt. Then, I went ahead and started A Local Habitation, which is the second book in the October Day series. and I did enjoy it. Wrong direction. Did enjoy it, or am enjoying it. Sorry, I don't have anything negative to say. I've been up since 2 a.m. though, because I couldn't go back to sleep, and so to that I kept reading. So I got 25% into it yesterday, and then I proceeded to get 68% into it today. Cool. Cool, cool. Yeah. Okay, that one's marked too. Great, okay. So the reading plan for today is I want to start and finish The Genius of Judy, which is my book club pick for the month, or for the, I don't know, we don't meet, I don't know. It's the book club pick. I want to start and finish that. It's a 8-hour-long audiobook, so I think that's definitely doable. I want to get 75% into A Local Habitation, also very doable. And I think that's going to be it for today. I'm flying through my TBR, which is a little frustrating because the month isn't done yet. I have like a whole other week left of this month, and these are the last 2 books I have. So I may add another book, switch some stuff around. I don't know. We'll see what I do. I may just start reading books and get 98% into them and wait until February 1st and then get 100% in because of the book blanket. And y'all are gonna mind your business, okay? About the way that I track my shit, alright? This is just how I feel about it. But that's the reading plan. Doctor's appointment today. I think that's it. So I think I'm gonna go and finish my breakfast and try not to die because I'm so tired. Okay, thanks, bye. Hello, good morning. It is Monday, the 26th. I was supposed to have today off, so you probably weren't even gonna get an update. I was supposed to go to the doctor and get my license renewed, etc., etc., etc. There was a ice storm, and it's still icy outside. Not snow. We don't get snow here. We do, but not really. It's still icy out here, and they canceled everything. So my doctor's appointment is a virtual doctor's appointment now, which is fine. Whatever. It just means I don't have to reschedule, which is fine. And then I have an appointment in 2 weeks, so it's not like end of the world. Not in 2 weeks. Week after next. Is that in 2 weeks? Every other week now. Every other week. I did get some reading done over the weekend, though. I read A Local Habitation, which is the second book in the October Day series. This is like tech meets fae, which I thought was really cool. It's kind of interesting seeing some of those characters from the beginning and like thinking about how much they've grown and their voices have changed over time. Tibble is hands down still one of my favorite characters. And I stand by the fact that I named one of my pets after him, so I stand by it. It's perfect. It's just perfection. Friday I finished, was it Friday? The Genius of Judy, which is a non-fiction book about Judy Blume, but also about like the ways that she affected and changed social things and writing about girls' experiences and that kind of thing. I think I've read or I've watched the documentary that's based on this book because a lot of the information wasn't new to me, but it was still really cool. And we have book club about it this week, so hyped about that. That'll be a good time. So yeah, those are the things that I read. I also went ahead and started Crib Sheet by Emily Oster, which is a book about baby shit. It's a nonfiction book about baby stuff. I'm reading a few of those because we're getting there. Yeah, Friday is when we saw the baby. Did I talk about this? No, because I updated before we went and saw the baby. That's my bad. Friday we saw the baby. He is head down, which is good. Good, perfect, great. He's right there in my pelvis, which is scary. because that means he's getting ready to be bonded. Not anytime soon. I mean, but also soon. We are at 48 days until my due date. He's a little on the small side. He's per their estimate. So if you don't know, growth scans and like sizing scans after about 20 weeks are 50% inaccurate. So he could come out and be 6 pounds, 8 pounds, 2 pounds. We don't know. They were measuring him at about 3 pounds. His femur is measuring a little short, but his parents are very short, so I ain't that worried about it. But because he's measuring small, they're going to have me do another scan when I am 38 weeks pregnant, which is fine because at that point I will be due soon. So they may have me do that and then get induced. My big concern was, sorry, gross conversation here, and the reason that we had this ultrasound was to make sure that my placenta had moved out of the way, because if it was in the way, he would not be able to be bonded in the normal way. Not in the normal way. Nobody come at me. Nobody come at me. I'm very tired. He would not be able to be bonded through that exit. He'd have to be C-sectioned. Which is, in fact, my personal biggest labor fear, is I don't want to have a C-section. I find them terrifying. I think people who have C-sections get the utmost respect because it's the scariest thing I've ever heard of. So, yeah, so we're good on that. It did move. We're good. We're golden. They did have a hard time seeing it, though, because they were like, his head is just right there and he won't move. So, yeah, she was like, I'm gonna press against his head. I'm sorry, this might hurt. And I was like, whatever, you're fine. Didn't hurt. It was fine. But she was pressing against his head to try and get him to move out of the way so that she could get a good image. And he didn't move. He just kicked me instead. So he's getting that attitude from his mom already. Cool. The reading plan today is mega chill. I'm just going to try to get 25% into CLEARURSHT. And that's it. I'm like really, really far ahead in all of my reading. And I wasn't even supposed to be at work today. So, you know, that's where I'm at. So, I'm gonna do that and prep for this like virtual meeting. And hope all goes well. So, I don't think I edited for Friday, so I need to edit for Friday. I'm gonna need to edit this, and that'll be it. So I will talk to you guys later. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Okay, thanks, bye. Tuesday, the 27th. Yesterday went fine. My doctor's appointment was silly. My doctor was like, I hate virtual visits for this. This is stupid. And I said, I don't disagree, bestie. But it went fine. I had an okay day yesterday. I didn't sleep well, but I had an okay day yesterday. Reading-wise, real quick, I did get 25% into CLEARURSHT. Cool. I am enjoying it. I think it's really interesting. I'm actually having to hold myself back from reading more. I think Thursday or Friday, like next week's vlog, I'll probably start on February's books. I'm just trying to hold off so that I don't like finish them ahead of time. But if I don't have something to read, then my brain has room to think, and I don't want that either. So yeah, 25% to crib sheet. I'm also reading a book called The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding, which is very woo-woo, and I don't know. It was recommended to me. I am going to glean what information I can from it, but I don't know that this is for people like me. Although I can be very woo-woo. I'm like a mix of like crunchy and not crunchy. So, you know, what can you do? I did start that though. There's some helpful information. I just think that like it's framed in such a way that doesn't I don't know how to explain it. But that's the reading plan for today, is to continue reading Crib Sheet, get about 50% into that, and then continue reading The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding. Whatever. I don't know what I was going to say. I did work on the book blanket quite a bit yesterday. She's coming along really nicely. I don't know what's the top and what's the bottom at this point. But like that is January. So yes, I do know what's the top and what's the bottom. Ignore her, she's not really sewn on yet, but yeah, we're getting there. So like from here down to here is all January, and then we started February. And obviously like I have to sew some of these guys on. We're gonna do horror, nonfiction, horror here. But I'm not going to do the last horror because I need to make sure that it's not like the last one I do of the month. So like I can't do that until the end of February, but that's fine. And I'm talking about February and it's January 27th because I'm mentally ill. I don't know what else, y'all. I'm super tired. I'm super tired, and then like being off my meds is not fun, and I'm not enjoying it. So here we are. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go. We'll talk later when my brain works a little bit more. If it ever will again. Okay, thanks, bye. Hello, good morning. It is Wednesday the 28th. Let's talk about reading real quick. I did get 50% into Crib Sheet. I'm enjoying it a lot, like a lot more than I actually thought I was going to. I really appreciate the data and research-backed information not taking a side. Like, the majority of the book thus far has been pretty unbiased. It's just like, these are the facts. This is the research that we know. This is how that research was done. Believe, like, you know, assume that it's, you know, done well or not, but like, this is how, what you can glean from that information, this is what you can glean from the research, etc. And I really like that. My doctor works a lot the same way, so it being represented here has also it's been nice. I like it. It's a good book. There's some things that aren't like we've already made decisions about, like how we're like what sleep's gonna look like, what birth's gonna look like, what breastfeeding's gonna look like, those kinds of things. There's some things that we've made decisions on already, so I didn't necessarily like delve too deep into some of those things, but there's some things that I hadn't thought about or hadn't considered or didn't know the research on in order to know why it was a thing that people were choosing to do or whatever. And then on the flip side, the womanly art of breastfeeding is like the strict opposite of crib sheet. It's like a medicalized birth, da da da. Like, it's very like natural birth, which is fine because my intent is to have an epidural free birth, not a natural pain relief free birth, but like an epidural free birth, which is two different things, and people do get them mixed up. they think that I mean the same thing, and I don't. I want to go to the hospital. I want to listen to my doctor. I want to do what my doctor says. But also, I know my body. So that's where I'm at with that. So the womanly art of breastfeeding has been interesting. I am only 25% into that. It is very long. We'll see. We'll see what happens. For today's reading plan, I'm going to get 75% into crib sheet, and then I'm going to continue to read The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding, and then I might start Magic Steeped in Poison. Is that what it's called? Yeah, A Magic Steeped in Poison. I may start that, just get 25% into it. I was going to listen to it, but again, I'm so far ahead in my reading right now that here we are. Yesterday was a good day, though. I actually got my license renewed. I've been trying to get my license renewed since May, since before I even got pregnant. The first time, it happened to be scheduled on the same day as my very first doctor's appointment with the OB, and I was not in a place to go to the DMV. First trimester, I felt like shit. My meds weren't working. It was just not. The second time we went, and which by the way, that was like in August, because I couldn't get an appointment before then. So it was in like August. The second appointment was in like November, December, because again, that was the earliest I could get. And we went, and they wanted my birth certificate. I have never been asked for my birth certificate to renew. First off, usually to renew my license, I just do it online. But I had to do it in person. Okay, cool. Fine. I've never had them ask for an additional form of identification. Ever. But not just that. They specifically wanted my birth certificate or a valid passport. My passport's expired and also has my maiden name because I don't travel. And I don't have a copy of my birth certificate. I've literally never had a copy of my birth certificate because I've never felt a reason to. My parents have my birth certificate, but I don't. And so I was like, would my social security card work? Like, I have that. No, didn't work. And the lady went in on the computer and was like, we have every piece of identifying documentation that you've ever had in your life other than your birth certificate, which I thought was very strange. Now, another thing, just like a side note here, all of this is odd. Everyone that I've talked to in Texas has not dealt with this. Like, everyone I know turning 30 didn't have to renew online. They just renewed in person, or didn't have to renew in person. They just renewed online. They didn't have to provide this documentation, ever. So there's that. I think it was last year, when they cracked down on voter registration and like people who were registered to, they were like, oh, we removed thousands of people who weren't citizens. Mine had been removed. I was born here. Not only here, I was born in Texas. So I think all of that is kind of I think they think I'm someone I'm not. I'm not gonna get too into that, but I think they think I'm someone I'm not. Anyway, we had to order a copy of my birth certificate. It took 40 days to get here. Finally came in, scheduled my driver's license renewal. I was ready. I was like, I have my birth certificate, my social security card, my marriage license, because that shows when I changed my name, my old ID. Like, I'm ready. Just in case, by God. And it was scheduled for Monday, which was when the freeze happened. And so everything was shut down. So I emailed them and I was like, hey, at this point, I am almost in my 9th month of pregnancy, and I've been trying to get this done since before I was even pregnant. And I was like, hey, I need my ID renewed before I give birth for legal reasons. Because, like, I don't know what they do if you show up with no valid ID. I don't know what that looks like. Does only my husband get to be on the birth certificate? That would be crazy. That would piss me off. Much respect to my husband, but that would piss me off. Yeah, I don't know what you do. So, also, do they just give you the birth certificate? How does that work? I have questions. Anyway, moving on. Finally got it renewed. Because I had emailed them on Monday and was like, hi, I have got to get this renewed. And then they were like, we'll be back in office on Tuesday. I didn't hear from them on Tuesday morning, so I emailed them and I was like, hey, do you have an update on this? Can I reschedule this? And they were like, when date and time, what do you want? And I was like, today, if possible, this afternoon. Can we do it this afternoon? If not, here's some other days. And they were like, yeah, 1 p.m., let's go. We went, we got it done, had all the right stuff. Cost me $33, which was a little bit crazy, but anyway, now we're good. I have all of those documents in a folder. We're good, we're golden, we're squared away. So, that was too much for me. It was too much for me. Anywho, that's done now. I realized, upon looking at the footage of me talking about the book blanket, that I had fucked up somewhere. Specifically this corner here. And so I had to take it apart and then, like, re-sew some of the pieces on. And so that's, like, throwing off a lot of what this is going to look like. But it's okay. We'll figure it out. I still hate when I end up putting the green and the blue together. They look too similar. Also, the way there's, like, horror. I didn't even notice that until just now. That's fine. I don't mind. But, same with fantasy. We've got, like, fantasy. That's a teal color, in case you didn't know. But I fixed it. I had to un-sew pieces together and then re-sew them together. And so now some of them are, like, loose like this, but that's okay. They're attached where they need to go, so we're fine. What? So we're fine. This update was long, so I have to tell you about my driver's license story, so I'm gonna go, because I got some stuff I have to do for work. I will talk to you later. Okay, thanks, bye. Thursday, the 29th, which, as you guys know, means I'm going to close out the vlog. So, how are we doing, gang? I did manage to get 75% into crib sheet. 75 or 50%? What was I doing? I think 50%. Yeah, into crib sheet. Same thoughts as yesterday. I am still enjoying it. I really like the way that the data is presented. I think that that's done really well. I do have some thoughts about, like, an economist being the one presenting this information. Not a scientist, you know? But it is someone who looks at data professionally, right? So, but that data could be interpreted differently depending on your understanding of the data. So I don't know, you know? This is what I'm saying makes sense. But I am still really enjoying it. Then alternatively, I actually got 50% into The Womanly Art of Breastfeeding last night / this morning because I woke early. I think this book might be too woo-woo for me. I really would like to finish it. Like, part of me wants to DNF it because it's a little bit too woo-woo for me. I'm going to keep reading it, but we'll see. I had a thought, and just so everybody knows, being a mom is not going to be what my content's about. We're going to keep talking about regular books. This is just what I'm currently reading. I had a thought. I'm going to bring this up in the next week's vlog too. I have read a lot of nonfiction books about parenting and birth and that kind of thing. And then I had some really strong thoughts about some, and then neutral thoughts, and then, you know, positive and negative, etc. I don't know if I should put together like a list of the 10 books that I recommend or don't recommend, or like just a list of the books that I recommend or don't recommend. And maybe this is more like, maybe I should do that on TikTok instead of here. I don't know. I'm just thinking, you know? But that's it. I'm gonna just go ahead and close the vlog out. This is a short and sweet ending to it, but, I'm tired. So, I will talk to you guys next week. Okay, thanks, bye.